Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Slight Shift Show. I am here with one of my favorite people on earth, Angela Vahue, and I have to tell you a little funny story about that. I have some other favorite people on earth, and
Oh no,
one
are they getting jelly?
and one is Mrs. Rocco. And when she saw read listened to it, she said, "Wait a minute," on social media. I thought I was your favorite. I go, "Mrs. Rocco, you're my other favorite person on earth." So anyway, there's a couple. I have bunch of favorites, but Mrs. Rocco, you got a shout out there. But yes, I am here with Angela Vahue on the Slight Shift Show, and where we are going to talk about, I guess, real life things that just happen in our lives, personally, professionally, and how we have to continuously make a little shift by either adding something, by either taking something away, or just seeing something from a different perspective with different lenses to enrich and better our lives and those that we care about. So we're hoping that you get something out of our conversations. Actually, I'm pretty confident you get something from our conversations, even though sometimes it may be laughter, which is okay, but at least there is something there. So welcome to our show. Like I said, you're the Batman. I'm the Robin. I'm the sidekick. So how are you today?
I am doing fabulous. It's
Good.
where we got some storms potentially coming in.
I think we
Um,
do as well.
Summer is starting to
When
ramp
when does
up and wind down.
when does Misha go back to school?
She now goes back to school after Labor Day because, as
Oh,
we all know, I am a very determined human being.
yes, you are.
And so there has been, from an educational standpoint, there's differences from state to state as what age cutoffs are and things like that. And when we moved, the age cutoff from the state we came from and the state we went to were different.
Wow.
And Misha was on one track, and the new state was another track.
Wow.
And so I have been fighting and fighting and advocating.
Advocating's a better word. Advocate
Advocating
for
is a
good
better
right.
word. I have been advocating for what is in her best interest.
Yeah.
And I am so proud and happy to report that the train is going back on track.
There we
So,
go.
so
Congratulations.
she now will be starting school after Labor Day and going to a new school.
A
And
whole
she
different
is
school.
a
Whole
whole
different
different
school.
school. She is
Wow.
so excited and very proud of her because she earned it and proved where she should have been all along. And so it's kind of like mixed emotions because, like, I don't want there to be an overarching, oh, I skipped a grade. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I don't want that to be an identity, which is
yeah.
something that we talk about. Like, people can say things to you in your adolescent years that then form an
Yes.
identity throughout your adult years. And so it's really
Yes, yes,
important to me
yes.
that not be
Yeah,
an identity that she carries. I want her to be proud of herself.
yeah,
She's where she should be. So we're having lots of conversations about reframing
yeah,
that
yeah.
and how she's telling her friends and things like that. And so I heard her the other day on a call, and her friend's like, "Wait, you're going into you're skipping second grade?" And she's like, "No, I'm not skipping second grade.
I love it.
Third grade is where I should have been all along, but because of my," and she was like, "because of my birthday and da da da," and she
Yeah,
like
yeah,
said the
yeah.
whole thing, and I was like,
Good
"Good girl."
job. Very
Yes.
articulate, right? And that's why she's going into third grade.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I think it's done early enough in her life that later on in the years, it's like they're not even going to know. I mean, probably they'll know when she's 18 years old and all her friends are whatever, 16, and they're driving and she's got to wait another year. That's the only time they'll ever know.
well, and you know what? You know me. I did the
Yeah.
math. I
Yeah.
love math. And so I was like, okay, she can continue on the track that she's on,
Yeah.
and she can take AP classes and college classes in high school
Hmm.
and probably graduate early
Yeah.
in 3 years, which would be at age 22.
Mhm.
Or she can go to the grade where she was prepped and should have been all
Yeah.
along and graduate in 4 years, which is still age 22, you know? So it's,
and have the full experience.
And have the full experience. Exactly. And so, you know, I obviously we didn't make the decision lightly. But very excited for her, very proud of her. And what's interestingly enough is throughout mine and your relationship and the coaching that we've done and identity things from my childhood that we've worked through and things like that. So when all of this happened, I immediately was like, oh my gosh, this is not going to be an identity. I need to shift this. And had I not had
that training,
that training with you, I never would have even thought of it.
Because
and so there's a shift for all of you parents out there is to really, like, when things are happening in their adolescent years, like, is this going to be an identity for them? And is it, and I was thinking about this too, like, is it something that you put into your head? Is it something that somebody else put into your head? You know, are you filling up your cup? Or are you filling up somebody else's cup? You know, like, all these like random thoughts of like, is it mine or is it somebody else's that then became mine? And so I don't want that to define her, because that's not her, you know.
You know, that is, there's so much to unpack there, even from that little story, that narrative, because like what you tell yourself has such a profound impact on who you actually become, right? And those stories and those narratives. And for most people, they don't know why they're having those thoughts or beliefs or whatever. And all of a sudden they're there, and then they don't know how to change it.
Yep.
And what you've done is proactively helping Misha and to program her mind, help her program her mind, almost of accepting the situation for what it is, and I've earned it, and so on. So then you don't have that negativity coming in later on.
Yeah, because I don't want her. Yeah, I don't want her to view it as like she's above or she's better. You know what I mean? Like, and I could definitely see, oh yeah, well I skipped that or whatever. And so yes, you did. You earned it, but you also just got your train back on track.
You know, there's a saying like, youth is wasted on the young, right? In other words, imagine if, you know, I'm a little bit older, so, but I forgot about that, right? But imagine if like I knew what I knew now, but when I was in my 20s or in my teens, or the idea of how to program your subconscious mind to create a belief.
Yep.
Like, even as back then I was an aspiring athlete, right? I wanted to make the US team in Taekwondo, and I got really far. And I think if I had this kind of mental training back then, I would have gone much further.
Could you imagine, the mental training as an adult, like even things as simple as, oh, you have fat ankles, or you're too short, or you're this, or like all of those little things that like other people say to us.
Yeah.
That then literally form our identity in adult years, and then you spend all of this time like rewriting your story. Oh, speaking of rewriting stories.
All right, this is getting better. Okay. Yes.
So you know this, but our audience probably doesn't know this, but I love Dancing with Stars. I love Derek Huff and that whole thing, and his wife Haley. So I was at the show and she had a brain bleed on stage during a show. I was there, and I just had this like really weird feeling.
Oh my goodness.
On like what she was going through.
Yeah.
And sure enough, went through something very similar to what I did.
Holy cow.
At the same age, both female, both healthy, both 29. And it like freaked me out. And I really struggled with it. And so she then recovered, and then they went back on tour because they were in the middle of a tour. So then they went back on tour, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go. Like I was like very emotional about it. And I was like, I have to go and I'm going to write a letter, just like, I know what it feels like to face your fear of getting back up on that stage and all of that stuff. And so went to the show, paid to do the meet and greet. I'm in line. I get up there and I'm sobbing.
Wow.
Probably literally world's worst picture with a fan because I'm like, like tears streaming down my face. So anyways, it kind of like haunted me that I was like, showing vulnerability is strength and not weakness, and I was like incredibly vulnerable and I was incredibly emotional and I put it all out there. But then I kind of like beat myself up a little bit about it. And so I needed to rewrite and reframe all that. And I knew that I did. And so came back out on tour just this past weekend. And I said to Matt, I was like, he's like, I already know what you're going to say. And I'm like, I need to go.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And so Misha and I went. Yep. And we got to meet him again. And he did not remember me, but the manager did. She was so sweet. She was great. Really? And I did not cry. And we got a really great picture. And Misha had an absolute blast. And somebody asked him in the meet and greet, they're like, how do you feel being back in this theater? Because this was literally the stage right there where it happened, right?
Oh my gosh. Did he pass out and he passed out? Or
she did, his wife.
His wife.
It happened to his wife.
And
so he was like, you have to rewrite the story and you have to give it new meaning and new narrative. And now they were so excited to come back. So you have a choice.
No fear.
Yes, you can go there and you can be upset or whatever, or you can choose to, no, I am here. And I'm so proud. And that's like, so I was like, oh my gosh, I was joking with the manager. I was like, I'm here to rewrite my story. And she's laughing because she remembers me. And it was like, it was so bad. And so I think there's so many times, like you hear these things as a child or you have fat ankles or whatever. And so the shift needs to be rewriting it. If you have this thing that you constantly feel about yourself or you feel bad or whatever, ask yourself, wait, is this my thought? Or is this somebody else's thought? Who put it there? How did it get there? And how can I rewrite
societal, right? Is it a societal thought? Is it an environmental thought? And then having the power and confidence to not take ownership to it.
Yeah.
Right? And I think
I was like, I am not letting this sobbing moment define me. And
you went back and got it and you took it back or you took control.
I took it back.
Narrative, as we're recording this, my wife, who we'll get her on our podcast eventually, but she's gone through a heck of a time, so she was diagnosed with breast cancer. They did the whole double mastectomy, and then we just found out yesterday that the cancer has left the building. So
yay!
A really good day. And
it's a great day.
Great day. So yeah, that was wonderful news. But she, like, if I was to say, like, think about health as the determination and rewriting the script and rewriting the narrative. I mean, there's so many ways she could say the whole victim mentality is why me?
Yep.
How the heck could this happen to me? Why this? Why that? And you could definitely get upset with yourself. And then this is right after a year and a half of nerve surgeries and nerve issues.
Yep.
But to this day, even probably today, this morning, she says, well, I do know that so many people have it worse than me, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
I would say we could complain a little bit because this has been a little rough road, but still.
For sure, but you can't let it define you.
No, definitely not.
Get the words out, get the heaviness out, but you can't let it consume you and define you. And I feel like there's a lot of people that, like, it really does, it defines them. And so when you have those moments, like, I'll give my final shift now.
Yeah, there we go. Let's do it.
Here's final shift, like asking yourself, how can I rewrite this? How can I rewrite this?
How can I create a different narrative?
Yeah. And there's so many things, how, like, you look at something and you have a bad memory attached to it, and it makes you go, oh, you know, you're like, what steps can I take to eliminate that? How can I, what can replace that memory? What better memory can replace?
So if there was a strategy that we've gone over 10,000 times in our work together since we've known each other, what would be something that somebody can do to create that shift and that narrative on the spot? You're the master
Well,
of
they
this.
say, yeah, but
That's right. Thank you. You passed the test.
ah, I got
Right.
100.
Yeah, you got
I'm
100.
skipping a grade. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right. Skipping a grade. But being humble about it, of course, right?
Yeah.
But the idea of yeah, but is so profound. I had a call with a client, and I think I shared with you the client that I worked with was like, this is freaking brilliant. He goes, you got to patent this, you got to do this, you got to do that. I didn't see him for about 6 months, and he jumped on the call because it's a group session that I do. He jumped on the call, and the first thing he says to me, he takes his sticky and he shows me, he goes, take a look. It's right here. Yeah, but, right? And he goes to me, I still think that is the most powerful thing that you've ever told me, and I use it every single day. Right? And that came from you and I in our conversations
It
to
did. It
that
did.
whole realization. But the idea of identifying and being aware of what that negative is, right? What that negative thought is, what that negative story that you're telling each other, and shifting it immediately on a conscious level to counter it, like and instead of absorbing it, but deflecting it and redirecting it,
Yep.
writing your own story, rewriting the story is really
Well,
true
and it's gaining control
gaining
too.
control.
And
Yes.
and so like that kind of leads into what we were actually going to talk about
Yeah, we're
today.
good this time.
But it's sometimes people say things to you and they use different words in
Yeah.
different contexts. And so this all what we were going to talk about was the phrase, like different phrases like man to man or
Yeah, yeah,
woman to woman, and like what does that mean?
yeah, yeah, yes.
And so I think the biggest takeaway in our pre-podcast
That's right.
was they mean different things to different people. And
Yeah,
so if somebody says something that kind of makes you go, oh, like, why did you say that way? Taking that step back to remember that your interpretation of what they said could be vastly different than their
what it was
interpretation,
in the
or
intro.
maybe your interpretation is correct, but then you can just acknowledge, I'm not like, that's not how I would interpret it, and regain control. And then rather than saying man to man, then you could say, I would love to have a direct conversation or
Yeah,
be direct or on the same page or eye to eye, or,
yeah, yeah.
like you can regain that. It's all about control. And so don't let other people's words
Affect how you feel internally.
alter your.
Yeah. Well, I think that takes true, that's power, right? That's taking control and having power in that situation.
It
You
takes
know,
massive mental control.
yeah, if somebody says something, and what do we used to call it? Well, what do we used to call it? We still call it that, an emotional puppet, right? An emotional puppet is when you allow something out, circumstance, what somebody says, somebody does, affect how you feel inside and move you from your center. But if you could stay centered no matter what is coming around you, then right, you have a position of power and stability,
Yeah.
right? That's not easy though.
No,
That's like
it's not.
the hardest thing.
It
The
it
hardest.
definitely is. And sometimes you have to do a lot of talking to yourself.
A lot of self-talking, yes. You walk down the street and you're having this voice come in, oh, you're talking, and then this, and then the people think you're a little bit
Mhm.
crazy, and you probably see somebody, but it's okay. So,
Yep. Yep.
but I
But
mean,
you can't let other people's, I think the biggest takeaway is you can't let other people's words or phrases, what is it like, I'm like rubber and you're like glue, whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you.
I never heard that
Oh,
before.
you never heard that?
Oh, never heard that one before. So I'm like
I'm like rubber and you're like glue. Whatever you say to me bounces off of me and sticks to you. So if somebody says something like hurtful to you,
yeah,
just let it bounce off
just let it go. Yeah.
and go back to them. And then you can have your, yeah, but I pride myself on not talking down to people that way or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it may be, because you can't control what that other person is saying or how they say it or why they say it or what their intention is.
Yeah.
That lies with them, and let it stick with them. Bounce it right off of you and
That's
back to
right.
them.
That's right. And then, and also considering what the context and
Yeah,
what is being said and what is the environment and what is the perspective. And, there's, you never know what's happening in somebody else's world, right?
100%.
Which is
100%. It
why
happens a lot where sometimes, like, one thing, like one isolated thing would not be a big deal, but let's just say there's like five other totally unrelated things, but you got
yeah,
five other things. All of a sudden, all five of those are like mountains.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very good. It's an interesting podcast today. Interesting conversation because sometimes you learn more than you teach, like that you share, right?
Yeah,
And that was an example of today. I
yeah.
got
Well,
more out of today and a different perspective from your perspective than I I am giving today. So very good. I was a student today. You were the teacher. So you'd be a great coach. You are a great coach. So.
oh, thank you.
So the shifts, the biggest shift is for you said to when somebody says something to rewrite it, you don't have to
Yep.
accept it, to rewrite it.
Yep.
And then my shift would be,
Come on, Jerry Springer. What's your final
I
shift?
know, I know, I'm trying to think,
Come on, Jerry.
thinking, is that um, always look from the perspective of the others and the context in which things are being explained or being said. That not necessarily means it's a direct implication on the person. So
Yep.
how is that, right? So
Yep.
having a different perspective. So wow, okay.
Love it.
That was totally different than the direction, but we just
100%.
shifted and then shifted and then shifted and then shifted. And I think we're getting pretty good at this shifting stuff. So thank you everybody for joining us today. Like I said, thank you, Angela. You gave me some different insight. I hope you all got some different insight. And most importantly, having the ability to redirect and rewrite as needed when things aren't necessarily going your way or butting it to death, and then finding and getting your mind to serve you instead of hurting you. And congratulations to Misha. We all say congratulations to Misha. Congratulations to my wife Kathy for
Woo!
leaving the building.
Exiting stage left.
Exiting stage left. That is right. And we will see everybody next time. If you like what you heard and saw, please share and give us some feedback or anything else. And if you have any conversations you want us to have, I guarantee we will make it interesting.
Topics,
Thank,
questions, comments.
yes. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you on our next episode.